I thought we'd go over some basic opening ideas, really simple, that will not require much or any memorization. Uh, One big difference between Western chess and Chinese chess is that in Western chess, there's a lot of literature, books, years of study into different opening systems where you configure your pawns in certain places and play for either a dark square or light square control and place your pieces on certain squares. And in this game, that sort of study is mostly absent. Maybe at the highest level, but at the amateur level, there's very little concentration on specific opening ideas. What we'll be doing here is just trying to um, learn where to put your pieces, where not to put your pieces, so that you can get an opening that makes sense. What we'll do here, I have it in setup mode, simply to demonstrate where you might move your pieces, irrespective of what the other player might do. We'll start with the cannons. The cannons, first of all, one cannon will nearly always come here to the center. It's a very aggressive, probably the single most common first move to make. Now in Western chess, you'll reach to one of the center pawns and move it up. In this game, you don't do that. This is rather ineffective first move. So suppose you do enter one of your cannons to the center. The knights, of course, head towards the center as well. This is a very common place for the knight. Now you observe that the knight here cannot move forward in its expected way. Why not? Because there's a pawn in the way. So very often you'll see this pawn move up one to be able to move the knight out. On the other side, since this pawn has moved up, then this player may have trouble getting this pawn to move, and so therefore he may be slowed down or in his development of his own knight. So this pawn move has a dual purpose then. Helps you develop your piece and also slows down your opponent. And observe how the two cannons here are connected. In other words, this one's protecting this one, because now we've placed a knight here. Knights sometimes will move here, and then this pawn move forward, and then the knights move out here. That will occur at times. In fact, in this position where red has moved up, black maybe is afraid to move his pawn up yet, so he may resort to that strategy, move this pawn here, and then his knight might come out here. Alternately, he may move a elephant here and then advance this, because then take, and then he's at least he's not lost a pawn and is not faced with a disadvantage in that way. The strongest and equivalent of the queen almost is the rook or the chariot, and he will be seeking to find a place on the open files. Now the first one to come to mind is this square, but observe how there's a cannon right at the moment here that could attack it. So he may wait for this cannon to move and then move here, or in sometimes he may even sidestep this, so then he can move here to not put the chariot on pre. Another alternate place for the chariot is to come up one, an early rook lift, and since the second rank is vacated in the opening position in this game, you will see this pretty often, and then he'll sidle his way over here. Observe this is an open file, or maybe over to here to this open file. Or you might even see, in a development of, especially after this is moved, of doubling up, something like this, on taking advantage of the vacated second rank. Now around the king itself, you will often see a sort of triangular setup. You can think of it as making a castle. Of course, the king cannot leave his palace, so he doesn't usually move very far at all in the first moves. But the other pieces may indeed make a little triangular shape around the king in protection. The two advisors will either be in that position or here. These are protective formations, and the two elephants may indeed be here and here. And it's somewhat of a passive move, but it is defensive in nature. But you'll see it very often. Early in the game, you don't necessarily see the elephants move out to the side unless they have to. For instance, if this cannon moved here, of course it's occupying a place the elephant could go. And in that case, you might see the elephant